Hi, hello, love, Mikey.
Why?
We're in the UK, mate. No,
Banana.
mate's Australian. Mikey, we're gonna be talking about a British locale, uh, borderline horror cow, piece of
Bear.
that that out of all the things like like do you want us to cover this blah blah blah. He's like always been third place.
Oh,
So I'm just gonna get rid of it now by talking about Mr. Mark Feely. Uh, he's a piece of shit.
The banana bear show! Greatest is cooking! Hell yeah! The banana bear show! The banana bear show! Ring the sick in the dumb womb. Laughing at them cause we want the smoke. The banana bear show!
Let's talk about a piece of crap. This one, I, he is, I, well, I'll just have the video say it for itself. This is from Mr. Interesting Things from the Internet. We love using this guy. He has a nice British accent, and it's great because he's talking about another British guy.
oh yes. It's always good when you talk about somebody that is close to you.
If you think Cyrax's deplorability with talking to minors is the worst thing ever,
Yeah.
get ready, because this British guy is the worst.
Oh, good. That's what I always love to hear.
And I like this video because it kind of compilates it. There was a guy that he was one of the first people to talk about Mark, and it's very in it's a lot of info. However, it's mostly just him in front of the camera talking. But this is, of course, interesting things from the internet. He does a good job of editing all this stuff. So, dare I say, yeah. Interesting.
Hello guys and girls, how are you doing? You alright? This irresistible Adonis is Mark Feely.
Babes, I'll be there every single. You're my little princess. You love me, I love you. I think a nice lass would be there for each other.
Calm down ladies, I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you're watching this video I don't think that you're Mark's type. Today's sordid take.
What do you think his type's it, Mike?
Based on what you said, young.
He likes little
Is
girls.
one of
Yeah.
mystery, depravity, vigilante justice and a possible corrupt police force, plus much more. Before we get started, this story is set in the north of England and I'm sure my British viewers will understand what's being said in the clips, but I'm aware I have viewers from all over the world, a lot of whom English is not their first language. So I'll write out subtitles for the clips that we use and translate any slang words into normal English, as some of the accents may be difficult to understand.
Oh, yeah,
Based
it
on
is.
some of the comments of my
That's one of the worst things about doing more research on this guy is that he's like he's not from Scotland, but you know Scottish people have the same issue. They mumble.
Yep. The
And
words
they
run together and you're talking like this and you can't really understand what they're
so
saying.
you go over here, but
Yeah.
them though.
Ozzy
So,
Osbourne.
The fucking Karen.
previous videos, maybe I should start doing subtitles myself as well. And on that note, not much is known about Mark's early life. Judging from his accent, it seems fairly certain that he is from Yorkshire in the north of England. Most likely he is from Rotherham in South Yorkshire, as this is where a lot of the first cases we will look at are located, and his sister seems to live in the town. I have also found an old MySpace page of his that states that he is from Leeds in West Yorkshire. Apart from this, the only things that I could find about his younger days were these old photos and a few old home movies of him playing in a park with his friends and one of him dancing at a house party. These few fragments seem to tell the story of a unique looking but fairly normal young man. Sadly, I wouldn't be making a video about him if that was the case, so let's jump forward
Same here.
to when Mark was a little more grown up.
Now I guess that's a slur.
Yeah.
That we don't use in the States.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I was trying to think.
He'll say
Mark
it.
has a nickname online, the Norse of the North. This is a British derogatory term which is a more harsh way of saying predator. Mark certainly
Oh.
lives up to this name and mostly uses the social media platforms TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and to a lesser extent Facebook when
Always
embarking
TikTok.
on his nefarious endeavours online.
Yeah.
For reasons we will investigate later, information is very patchy on Mark, but it seems to have first turned up on TikTok around 2019, where he would do what are called duets with clearly underage girls. A duet, for those who don't use TikTok, like me, is when you post your videos side by side with another user. This seems to be something that Mark would do a lot on this platform, along with videos of him just dancing by himself. There are a lot of videos of Mark dancing. Some of them are videos of him dancing without any clothes on. I hate this job sometimes.
Yes, so do I. The videos are out
Mark would
there.
also live stream on the platform, mostly talking to young girls in a playful and inappropriate way.
Yeah, I fancy putting my name as Legend.
You are a legend.
And there's 51 people. Come on, I need to beat Ara.
You need to beat who?
Ara. Because he gets over like,
Mark, how old are you?
how old do I look?
I'm 30, but I look 14.
Retarded.
No.
Just
Wow. Okay. Whoa.
guess.
I don't
Well,
know.
for my age, at 4'11", I do not look 33.
You're 33.
4'11".
Yeah.
He's not even 5 foot.
Yeah. Cyrex is taller than he is.
But I don't look it.
Sadly, this is just the tip of the iceberg with Mark, but due to the nature of the story, the actual timeline is a little hard to place exactly. So from this point forward, the following things are things that happened, but the order may be a little off. Mark talked about being in a relationship with a girl named Megan who was 16.
I look even sexier now when I've had a shave, don't I, girls? But that's for you, Megan, my darling. What do I mean? What do I mean? Right, I put it in 2 ways, Megan. I put it in a good way as well. You know when you said you were 16 and we was in a relationship? Last year,
So he was
me and Megan split it up because
32
we had
or
arguments.
33 at the time.
Right, I wouldn't like to explain that actually. What it were, when I was talking to Megan, I asked.
Of course you did.
I did ask Megan out to get with her.
Mark isn't liked very much in Britain and has regularly moved around the country for his own safety. We will explore this more later on, but a lot of the videos that Mark uploads shows him in a new home each time. He basically lives out of a suitcase with not very many personal belongings.
I wonder
So
why.
with that in mind, I noticed a weird detail. Mark seems to take this painting around with him. This isn't something that I'd normally bring up, but given the context of this story, it seems like a thing that I should talk about.
Nasty.
Now, Mark stays at hotels a lot, so at first glance I thought maybe this is a generic hotel decoration. But then it showed up in this video, which is clearly filmed at a house and not a hotel. It also shows up next to a nude photo of a woman and what I think is some kind of certificate. Maybe this painting of a young girl holding a lamb, which is a symbol of innocence and purity, is just a painting of his mother when she was younger, or some kind of family heirloom passed down over the generations.
It's
But
not,
the
is
fact
it?
that it is next to an explicit photo and Mark being the person that he is, well, something about this detail made me feel really uncomfortable. Now, a grown
It
man
was.
dancing on the internet with minors and live streaming mostly to young people should be ringing alarm bells, but it's not illegal. Owning a painting is something that most people do, and even Mark being in a relationship with a 16-year-old is not illegal in Britain, but that is considered inappropriate and not viewed very kindly by most people. What is illegal is sending indecent photos of yourself to minors under the age of 16 and soliciting them to send photos back of themselves. There are many screenshots of Mark doing this online. If you follow my channel, then you know that I wouldn't normally include this type of stuff as it's easily photoshopped. But in Mark's case, the more I have looked into him, the more I am convinced that these are real. Or if these specific ones are fake, then others like them will be real. In one of these message threads, he sends a photo of his excited little Winky to an underage girl, with the girl saying that she feels sick. Mark then says that he is sorry and that he has cancer. I'm not going to spend too much time on these kind of details as they make me not very happy. The shockingly high
Me neither.
amount of these kinds of incidents will be looked at in the next chapter, but for now let's look at another aspect of this story. Mark seems to keep getting away with this, and it's very confusing as to why he keeps getting away with this. The only record I could find of his criminal history were 2 articles
Now,
written by a
the big
local
thing
newspaper in Yorkshire.
The big thing is like with Cyrax, it's because of Ohio law. Actual minors aren't not being solicited.
Right.
Right. That's like just in Ohio law. There's pros and cons to that, but that's the law. So he hasn't broken it, but he's borderline, right? This guy does talk to minors.
Yeah.
And he still gets away with it.
Huh.
In the first article, they claim that Mark was due to appear in court on the 7th of October 2022. He was set to be seen by Leeds Magistrates Court accused of breaching an order to keep him off the internet due to the risks that he posed to minors. Mark had been given bail by the same court on the 10th of August 2022 for similar charges when using a Snapchat account that he had been prohibited from using when he appeared at Birmingham Magistrates Court on the 17th of June 2020. The second article then talks about how these charges were dropped as West Yorkshire Police offered no evidence to the court. The only other articles I could find on Mark are from local news.
The evidence he's using TikTok when he's not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Period. This shit's stupid.
You'll see.
Across the north of England.
Because at first it was just me looking up this weird looking motherfucker that talks to kids.
Yeah.
But then there's like other rabbit holes around this that make it even weirder and fucked up.
Damn it. Okay.
UK, you had that person dressing up like a kid, doing all that weird AI shit.
Yeah.
And you have that one that thinks that they're a woman from Wizard of Oz, talks to kids, and then you have this one too. Like, they're bad. Like, UK, you bring out some bad ones, man.
And because local residents are outraged that he has moved to their
And obviously, I'm not bringing them, but I'm just saying.
Area, with the Lancashire Post claiming that someone set fire to a block of flats that Mark was suspected of living in. In each of these articles, the police are quick to let the public know that Mark does not live in the area.
So they're saying that somebody lit on fire because he thought he was there.
So
yeah, don't do that.
With such a relatively small criminal record and very little known about him on mainstream media sparks such extreme behaviour in otherwise normal people. Well, let's dig a little deeper and find out. Was done by a group called Protect North East on maybe Midlands Online Child Protection. It's a little hard to tell as it's been re-uploaded quite a few times. This video goes on for 45 minutes, so I'll give you the highlights and play whatever footage YouTube allows me to play. The people doing this sting claim that Mark has been talking to thousands of children online, and they are there because Mark sent indecent images to 2 real children whose parents contacted them. They take Mark aside and detain him, waiting for the police to turn up and arrest him. Mark then says to the people doing this sting that the police will do nothing because people are mean to him, and because he is disabled in some way this makes what he is doing okay. Mark then himself calls the police to come and help him. With some of the stuff that we'll look at later, this sting is a little frustrating. Mark keeps going to say something that could shed light on why he keeps getting away with this stuff, but the people doing this sting keep angrily shouting over.
It's like they're trolling around
him, which makes him stop talking. I get that they are a grassroots movement and emotions are running high, so fair enough. But sometimes it's better to just let people talk and incriminate themselves.
Yes.
You think you can get away with it and you can't now. Time's up, lad. Simple as.
You know what's happening? I'm telling
you. Yeah,
now.
trust me, I'll tell the police.
Do you reckon you're going to get away with it, do you?
Police not.
Do you reckon you're going to get away with it again?
Police knows me. Police knows me.
Oh, the police know you, so it's alright because the police know you.
Anyway, one of the men working for the group is live streaming this event, and soon thousands of people are watching what's going on. They then get one of the mothers on the phone to talk to Mark. As you can imagine, she doesn't really have anything nice to say to him. Then Mark's sister turns up. This is taking place in Rotherham, which is why it seems likely that he is from Rotherham. His sister really doesn't seem to like Mark very much and calls him a predator, saying that Mark wanted to be famous, but this may not be the best way to do it. She then
This is not famous. Like, people have said, like, oh, you guys cover like these guys, and then they get famous. No, this is called
No.
infamous. There's a difference. They're not profiting off this. We're just letting the people know about it. Oh, they're like rock stars. No, they're not.
No,
They're
these guys
not.
are idiots. Like anybody who wants to be like this guy or Cyrax or freaking Daniel Larson, you're stupid.
Yeah. It's like this isn't fame.
No.
Like people know your name for the wrong reasons, and yeah. So don't get it twisted. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is fucking vile. Like
Says that Mark's mother wishes that he was never born and that Mark tried to get an injunction against his own mother from the way that she was
so his family hates him.
Yes, for good reason. I mean, he's
No.
ruining kids' lives.
talking. It sounds like this has been a family problem for quite a while and his family really doesn't approve of what he does. I'll also just point out that Mark does confirm that this is indeed his sister. The tension then starts to rise as a group of people gather around Mark and want to attack him. But in a strange twist of fate, the people doing the sting become Mark's protectors and convince the baying mob that the best way to deal with this is to let the police handle it. One of the more striking things about this sting is just how much Mark doesn't care at all. He doesn't care that he may be arrested or that thousands of people are seeing him being accused of being a predator, or that his sister's feelings are deeply hurt by everything that's going on, or even that there's a baying mob of people that want to do not very nice things to him. Mark does keep saying that he's already been
Is he just a psychopath?
Probably.
arrested for sending
Or maybe
indecent
he truly doesn't understand what's going on. Because if you look at him,
I mean, he's got to understand, like, he's not worried about it. Like, those are two separate things. He knows he's doing something wrong.
that means he knows that he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
Yeah.
This
Unless he didn't have a grasp of what he has done. So he's naive to the situation. So he's just going with a default. I'll be fine. I've always been fine. Or this has happened before, and he's gotten away with it so many times that he knows in his brain that he's fine.
That's why we need to crack down on this stuff, like very hardcore. Like, not just us. I guess obviously across the pond too.
Yeah, and I've heard stories like their laws are weird, and maybe they'll change, but damn.
images, but the charges were dropped. This was in 2019, so before the charges that we looked at earlier in Leeds or Birmingham. As the video goes on, a larger mob gathers around Mark, now at about 50 people, with one man seeming to be very
50?
angry. The mob then start to turn on the people doing the sting for protecting Mark. They then start to throw things at Mark, but just in the nick of time, the police show up and the video is cut. In a live stream after the event, the people doing the sting claim that they gave the police files of evidence on Mark, including a disc, and they claim that their sting involved 150 children and that another 50 children came forward after the live stream. This lady also claims that one of the children involved was 8 years old. She also confirms that Mark was arrested at the scene and that the evidence that
How does he get access to an 8-year-old? Like, I know internet, but are parents this stupid?
No, tea crumpets. I don't fucking know.
Man, this is
Yeah, it's dark. But you know what? Maybe it's not the parents' fault because they don't know. No, the restrictions are there, but you know how kids are.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I understand. Like, I'm not blaming the parents. It just blows my mind that people let stuff like this happen. Like, it's his fault. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's anyone else's fault. It's just that
grinds your gears.
Yes. I'm at a loss for words.
will be used in the court case. She also states that Mark was arrested before the sting but released due to mental health. In a later live
We're gonna release you because you're dumb.
stream, this lady claims that Mark was released pending investigation in regards to this sting. and that just a few days after his release he was online talking to kids. They then get one of the fathers involved onto the live stream, who claims that he went to the police station after Mark was released and spoke to one of the police officers who told him that they didn't have enough evidence to hold Mark. The father then points out to the police officer that they didn't even interview his daughter about what happened, to which the policeman says they will contact him, but they never did. This group also claim that the police have lost evidence for 200 people who made allegations involving Mark, implying that there is something weird going on with the police. They also claim that Mark has been charged 4 times before this, but each time the charges have been dropped. This sting may have failed to get Mark imprisoned, but it did get a lot of attention on Facebook. Mark was now a superstar. This event really put Mark on the map, so to speak.
How do you lose testimony and I'm assuming DNA, maybe? I don't know.
He's never done it.
He's never done it. He's just online.
Yeah, showing his dick and shit. Like basically the Cyrix stuff, but to minors, real minors.
I mean, yeah, that still online. It sucks. He needs to go away. At least he's not doing it in person.
Well, obviously,
silver lining in the shit show. Okay.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I didn't hear that he did anything physical, but he's willing to do it because the stings and shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Places. Yeah.
And was the spark for a lot of the things to come later. One of the most interesting things about this sting for me is just how everyone involved knows that what is being alleged is true. The people saying it know it's true, Mark accepts it to be true, his sister knows it to be true, the mob that gathers seem to know that it's true. This may seem like flimsy evidence.
His mother knows it's true.
You to watch the full sting on Facebook and make your own mind up. This is the thing that really convinced me that Mark is not someone that should be talking to kids, and why I made this video really, but it's just my opinion, so take it with a pinch of salt. As I stated before, Mark has been stung many more times than just this one. He is very prolific. I'll give a very brief overview of some of the other stings, but really this first one I think is the most enlightening. At this point, I'll make it very clear that I do not approve of any unlawful actions that have been done to Mark, and I do not condone anything that I talk about in this video. I am just relaying the events of what happened in a factual manner. So, in one of the...
I'm just saying, we here at the Banana Bear Show do not think violence should be done against these people. But I do have one word for him. Punisher. That's what UK needs.
Wow. Like, wow. You know what Punisher does? Punishes.
He gives hugs. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not the Punisher I'm talking about.
Okay.
You're confused.
I am.
He gives really, really strong hugs. Big metal hugs that they just...
yeah. The hugs that make you feel real tired and you lay down after.
Yeah.
You don't get back up.
The other stings,
Nope.
Mark is treated very aggressively, being pushed and held in place until the police arrive. As far as I'm aware, this is lawful in Great Britain due to citizens' arrest laws, so hopefully YouTube will allow me to show this footage.
I could have said, no, they won't.
The people doing this sting claim that Mark threatened a 6-year-old. These people sound Welsh, which for the non-UK viewers is pretty far away from Yorkshire. As I said, Mark gets moved around a lot for his own safety. Mr. Feely was arrested after this sting. Then 2 months later he was stung again by a group called Safeguarding Kids Online while he was staying at what I guess is a hotel. This sting was done while Mark was still under investigation for the last sting. These people sound like they are from Manchester, I think. I'm not a connoisseur of northern accents. What I do know for sure is they are not Welsh, so Mark had been moved again. One of the other stings, I'll say in air quotes, as it was just someone repeatedly assaulting Mark. But it seems like he knew information about where he lived and filmed it, so I guess it was meant to be some kind of sting. Again, I do not approve of this YouTube. The guy doing this sounds like he is from Bradford, so Mark had been moved again. Then the other sting that I found was in Rochdale by a group called Elite Predator Interceptors. Again, this has been re-uploaded quite a few times, so that could be wrong. Anyway, in this sting, they put underwear on Mark's head and live stream the address of the hotel that he is staying at. One other thing on this topic before we move on is that Elite Predator Interceptors did an interview with Mark, which is pretty interesting. From what I can make out, this wasn't a sting, but more something that Mark requested to clear his name. I'm not sure this worked out quite the way that Mark had hoped, to be honest, but it was illuminating and confirmed much of what
Clear?
people already suspected, such as it was the local authorities moving
Clear
Mark
his name.
around, therefore the
Yeah, but it was more of an insight of what's going on. The police move him.
taxpayers were paying for his hotels, and that he was on disability benefits which paid for his phone and his Wi-Fi. Mark also made some pretty questionable statements in this interview.
Why do they continue to let this happen? This drives me insane.
I know. Like we deal with people like this. You know, the whole Cyrex shit. I keep bringing it up because he's like the most polarized person. But like this guy's leaving his house
Yes.
to go. And thankfully it's all been stings. You know?
Yeah, but then
Again, the
he's
striking
still
thing for
talking
me
to
in
hundreds
this
of
interview is
kids.
just how much Mark doesn't care. And it always comes back to him being the victim in some way. I don't know what disability he has, to be honest, but it's irrelevant to me, really. This guy
Retarded.
should just not.
No, I think he is mentally challenged. That's the only way.
You know,
I can see the cops saying, "Oh, he's just mentally dumb, so we're gonna move him around." Yeah,
I'm not
but
for
all of them are doing it. Like,
assisted sleeping, but
punishment medication.
yeah, I think he needs a big helping dose of
A prescription of 44.
yeah. And I mean, let's give him the whole 9 yards. Let's do that. And then Grand Canyon drop, no parachute.
Well, he's in Britain, so it'd be like Big Ben skydiving.
No, we'd take the extra mile. We'd make sure he'd get the full tour. Come to America, we'll show you. We'll show you the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And then we can put him on a rocket, send him up to outer space, and leave him on the moon. Because I'm sure he loves the moon. Everyone loves the moon.
I think someone that's been caught this many times trying to do it is just as bad as actually doing it.
Yes.
Like, the reason why people do that, like predator, like poacher, like all that shit, is so they get the people that would do it.
Yes.
And mind you, when they do the poaching, it's like not like they're doing the messages and then they go to them. Is they set it up where they go to the area where they think the kid is.
Yep.
So they have their intent to doing it, thinking it's a young kid.
So I love the way that they do it with what's his face, the big red haired guy.
The guy that looks like Marty.
Yeah. They get him there. It's intent to meet a minor, and then he sits there and he talks with him. He's like, "Man, you know, I think you're a good guy. You know, you should tell me why you doing this. You really need to talk to me."
We talk about, yeah. Put him in a sense of, okay. And then when the cops come, they're like, "Yeah, this guy has children stuff on his phone."
Yep.
But I think they should chemically castrate him. That would solve a lot of issues. He couldn't send his dick pics unless he sends like his little wee wee.
I don't even want to take the chance anymore. Like somebody with this, a repeat offender, multiple times. Why can't we have a stance on that like we do with DUIs?
Well, he's not in America.
I mean, yes, of course, but
If he was
America
in
has its own
I guarantee
problems.
you this would be a little different.
I mean,
because
maybe
we're a lot stronger on the punishment of pedos, and like even the small ones, you get your name on that site. You get that little red mark on it. Well, but I don't think Britain has that.
I don't know. I think it should be across the board. Just
if you're,
I
from
think
the
it should be
UK,
one strike.
If you're from the UK, tell us in the comments, like the laws and shit, because I'm obviously I'm not there. He's not there. But it looks like they had the laws, but they don't really enforce them.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like a lot of places have laws, but people keep wanting to let people go.
It's like I don't care that he has a mental disability. He's still doing it.
No. Yeah, I mean,
It's the Lenny situation, you know, of Mice and Men. Yeah, Lenny was slow, but he killed that dog and then he killed that woman. He
yeah.
still killed somebody.
Stop it before it happens.
But they call that what do they call that? They call that preventative crime stopping, which is kind of against.
Well, I'm not saying like before they do anything. I'm saying like he's done this. We know he's going to do it again. Like I have normal people on the street. It doesn't take a genius to be like, yes, this guy's going to do it again based on prior history.
Laws have to change though, because technically, because he hasn't done it to a kid, he hasn't broken the law. But sending dick pics to minors, I think, is against the law.
Yes, it is. Soliciting
nudes.
Yes, to minors. That's against the law. And he's still, it seems like nothing's being done. Nothing.
Not be around kids in real life or online. And that's the only thing that should be taken into account. Mental health issues are meaningless and pale into insignificance when measured against the impact of some of the stuff that we've already talked about. Is when someone accused him of following a young girl home in 2019. Due to the date that this took place, I would guess this is Rotherham, but I'm not too sure. Mark gets moved around from hotel to hotel mainly, and it has become a bit of a sport to spot Mark in the wild. Now again, I don't condone this and everyone should act within the bounds of the law, but there are videos of Mark being assaulted. One of these videos shows him being beaten with a metal pole while his home is being robbed. Many other videos show him being shouted at very aggressively, asking him to leave the town that he is currently residing in. One of the main
nice one, buddy. Don't do that, but
problems that Mark faces is that he has a very distinctive look. No matter what face covering he is using, it's not very hard to spot him. Another problem is that he just keeps setting up new social media accounts every time he moves, and just doesn't really seem to care about the consequences of his actions. Sure, in the moment when someone is threatening him, he cares, but once that moment is over, he just goes back to doing what he does, and the cycle continues.
No consequences.
Moments in the Mark Feely story was when he was confronted by a young man who was arrested by an overzealous female police officer. So I've only seen 3 YouTubers make a video about Mark Feely, 2 of which were American, and they seem very confused about this arrest. So I thought that I would just clear up what's going on here.
And when I put this guy on the list, those were the only 3 I found. And they were kind of like me because I don't know British law.
Yeah.
But then there's one guy, he's from the UK or he's from Ireland. It's one of the 2. And he doubled down on like all this stuff. But once again, it was just him in front of a camera talking about it.
Yeah.
Britain has a few amorphous laws that are used by the police to arrest people that they don't like, but because they are poorly defined, the police can just interpret them any way they wish. One of these laws is the hate speech laws that can be used to manage what people say, and another of these laws is the public order laws that can be used to manage how people behave in public. I would guess that this man was arrested under Section 5 of the Public Order Act, which is a part of the law that the police can use to arrest anyone that they feel is acting inappropriately in public. It's normally used to take people off the...
Well, I mean, that's the same thing that a lot of Democrats want to do here. Hate speech and, laws like that are like, oh, well, I think you fit within this. We're going to make it broad enough to where you can literally include anybody who does anything out in public.
I know for a fact, though, Scotland has the worst ones. Because they have a hotline where you could just say somebody did it to somebody and they get arrested.
The streets for a short time and usually just results in a night in the cells or a small fine. The 2 American YouTubers that I saw make a video about this were Hi I'm Wonder and Underflow, and the other one was an Englishman named Joseph the World.
Joseph the World was the one I was going to use.
That it goes without saying that one Englishman is worth more than 2 Americans, and Joseph the World is a northerner, so no one really cares what he has to say. My video is much better than theirs. Only joking. Maybe.
Cheeky.
They'll do good work, so go and check them out after this video's done. So back to Mark Feely's story. In that clip he states that he has legally changed his name. As far as I can tell, no one knows what his new name is. The most recent thing that I can find about Mark dates from late 2022, in which he is being moved by the police into a new home. Something that you may have noticed in this story so far is that the police seem to be very helpful to Mark. Well, let's take a closer look at this.
This is the juicy shit. This is the thing that kind of got me like, man.
Is it Parliament?
Something that you'll come across pretty regularly when researching Mark are comments claiming that Mark is being protected by the police. Some say that he has a family member working for the police who keeps getting him off the hook for the crimes that he has allegedly committed. Others say that the police protect him because he has special needs, while others say that the police as a whole are just protecting predators. These kind of comments may at first be easy to dismiss out of hand as crazy conspiracy theories to people that don't live in the local area, but much larger proven events have happened in a lot of these areas that involve police covering up predators for decades. So these theories may not be so far-fetched. If you are not from the UK, you may not have heard of the gang scandals, but these events are probably one of the most shameful in the whole of English history. It's a very large topic that is out of the scope of this video really, but I'll just give a very brief overview for people that are unaware of this situation. So across many towns and cities in northern England and a few in southern England, gangs of mostly Pakistani Muslim men did unspeakable things to mostly young white English girls. This went on for decades and these ongoing crimes were covered up by the police and other local authorities. If we just look at Rotherham, which is where Mark is most likely from, then 1,400 girls were in this scandal, with the local institutions turning a blind eye or actively covering it up. After this scandal came to light, an investigation was launched in Rotherham named Operation Linden. This investigated the conduct of 47 police officers. 8 of these were found to have a case to answer for misconduct and 6 had a case to answer for gross misconduct. The report showed that South Yorkshire Police failed to protect vulnerable children and young people. This wording is taken from the report, but the kind of things that happened in this event make Mark Feely look like a Boy Scout, so it's understandable why people in these areas have lost complete trust in the police. And
what the actual fuck?
And the worst thing is, like, I don't know why. It, like, because it's been for a decade. Maybe it's because there's a high gathering of Pakistani people, so maybe it would look like a hate crime if they did charge them. Maybe it's of that nature, but I'm not gonna debate in my head because I don't know. But isn't that fucked up?
Man, I was joking when I wasn't really joking, but I mean, what I said earlier, times 100.
Punisher.
Just take them, give them all hugs.
Brendan, you need Punisher.
Doesn't help this by always claiming that the police are on his side.
Yeah, right, so keep on track, bro, so I can keep it on track. Because this is amazing, mate. This is a completely amazing. Everybody, people either calls me, mate, say what you want, bro, because when I show the police this, mate, I want to make sure they take all your names. So don't worry, mate, they'll be looking for you.
I hate this.
They take fucking names, mate, but don't worry. So beware. You don't know what fucking power I've got, mate. I've got power.
On the topic of Mark's live streams, he has a tendency to not understand how many viewers he has.
Because if anybody met me in person, I am the one person, a legend. Do you know why I'm a legend? Because I've just proved it myself. You've just proved it with 48k viewers. 48k viewers. Yo, I'm a legend, bro.
He had 4,800. You may have
He's an idiot.
Noticed I had to blur out the chats for these clips. That's because most of his viewers are people calling him a predator over and over again, which leads me on to one of the most funny moments in this story. So Mark was doing a live stream when he started to talk to a trans person who didn't speak very good English. I think they were Spanish or something maybe. Anyway, Mark's accent is pretty hard to understand even for native English speakers. So they looked at the chat to find out what his name was. They thought his name was Peter, as in Peter File. I'm not sure why I find that so funny, to be honest. Anyway, back to the police. Some people also speculate
that
that
was
they are trying to
God.
control content online about Mark. Obviously, I don't know if this is true, but many old videos about Mark on YouTube have been removed due to their policies on bullying and harassment.
This is for educational purposes.
Yeah, everybody needs to know about this guy. Everybody, every
YouTuber
single person in
Joseph
the
World
world
claims
needs to
that
know
one of
about
his
this guy.
videos was removed
Yeah.
from YouTube due to him talking about an attack on Mark, which is why I'm trying to make it very clear that I don't approve of these things.
Yeah, you guys need Punisher, not violence.
Yeah,
Joseph
he gives
the
hugs.
World and a clips channel named
Everybody
Mark
needs
Feely
hugs.
TV also claim that they have had videos
Yeah, this guy. This is the world's guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna use your video, mate, but it's only your big head. I can't do it.
fairly taken down due to copyright claims. So it would seem that someone at least is acting to try and cover Mark in some way. It really doesn't bode well for this video staying up, but we will see.
It's been up, so we're cool. Mikey, hi. At this time frame when that video was made, nobody knows where he is. Could be dead. Who knows?
Please, please let him be in a nice place like the moon.
Filled with pain. He needs a box. Mikey, this has been Mark Feely. Feely. The cops love him, I guess, and he loves the kids, and people want to beat him up.
I hated this. I absolutely hated this. I
know that's why I did it. I knew I was going to get some reaction because this guy is like a literal piece of shit. Like, we cover a lot of pieces of shit. Maybe two people that go onto the realm of like absolutely deplorable people would be more than this guy. But it's hard, you know. I could think of Bates. I could think of Ghost, the JJ guy, and you know the ultimate gentleman himself. Those three. But other than that, he's up there.
I'm aggravated at him and society and the UK and their
dumb laws.
Stupid police system over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a travesty. Like, this stuff should not happen. I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that.
I know. But that's what we're here for, to shine the light on the dumbness.
Dumbness made my head hurt today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And with that, fuck it.
I broke Mikey on this one.
See ya.
Bios con Dios, muchachos. See you on the next Banana Bear Show. That's British, right?
Andy Dick screaming his boo-filled cries. Cyrex covered in scabs with bedbugs lies. The Banana Bear Show! Subscribe!